Hello everybody, this is your main man Keith here from Keith Plays PS4 927. Happy Wednesday morning to all my awesome viewers on this awesome channel. We are in game 1 of the NBA Finals for our Road to the NBA Finals series for our Minnesota Timberwolves series 1. And we have officially made the NBA Finals without Karl Anthony Towns. Malik Beasley has been our main contributor to this playoff run for the Minnesota Timberwolves. It all began with the series sweep over the Utah Jazz in the first round, and then second round we had beat the Los Angeles Lakers 4-2, and we had completed the Denver Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals, and now here we are battling off against the Cleveland Cavaliers in a possible 6-7 game series. I did not do a Game 4 episode for the Denver Nuggets just to, make those finals memorable, so I just decided to skip Game 4 and advanced on to the finals anyway. So, without a further ado, we'll see you at tip-off. Alright, so for the Minnesota Timberwolves, they're going to be wearing their classic alternate 1998 through 2008 uniforms on the road in the 216 and 44 in Northeast Ohio. Meanwhile, for the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're going to be wearing their classic away 2003 through 2010 uniforms at home. So without a further ado, we'll see you into tip-off. Alright, it is game 1 of the NBA Finals here at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland. So now Darius Garland is going to pass it over to Evan Mobley. So Mobley gets the first 2 points of the episode. So now D'Angelo Russell, he's going to pass it over to Malik Beasley. So now Malik Beasley drills this in from 3. So it's now a 3-2 Minnesota Timberwolves lead. So now Isaac Okoro losing the basketball, picks it back up, passing it over to Kevin Love, gets blocked, and now it's Anthony Edwards with possession. So he's going to knock down a 3 for the Wolves from behind the arc. So it's now a 6-2 Minnesota lead. So now Darius Garland losing the basketball. D'Angelo Russell passing it over to Anthony Edwards. So D'Angelo Russell is going to pick up the first assist of the NBA Finals for the Wolves. So now it is Darius Garland losing the basketball, going to pass it over to Cedi Osman. And now it is Cedi Osman going to pass it over to Kevin Love, making it from 3. And he is battling off against his former team, whom he spent with during the 2008 through 2014 season. So now Beasley's going to try to knock down a 3 from behind the arc. Gets it in there, so it's now an 11-5 Minnesota Timberwolves lead. So now Cedi Osman losing the basketball. Beasley picking up that steal, and he's going to make that dunk happen for the Minnesota T-Wolves. And it's now going to be a 13-5 Wolves lead. So now Jared Vanderbilt making that steal, passing it over to Beasley. So it means Vanderbilt will pick up the assist. So now Darius Garland makes a nice spin move there. Russell making the steal. 4 steals for the T-Wolves and 8 fast break points for Minnesota. And they're up 17-5 in Northeast Ohio. So they're going to pass it over to Isaac Okoro. And now Anthony Edwards has possession. I'm going to try to do a crossover move. He makes that dunk happen. And it's now 19-7 here in Northeast Ohio in the 216 and 440. So now Darius Garland has possession of the basketball, loses it. D'Angelo Russell picks it up, and it is Malik Beasley who gets it in there. So now the T-Wolves are leading over the Cavs 3 times more the points, because 21 divided by 3 equals 7. And it is Darius Garland who makes it in for 3. And I'm going to pass it over. I'm going to pass it to Anthony Edwards, he's going to make this splash, and it's now going to be 23-10. And Timberwolves in this game 1 of the NBA Finals are perfect in their field goals, 10 for 10, which is 100%. So now this is going to be 23-12. I'm going to pass it over to Jared Vanderbilt and Anthony Edwards, getting that in for 2. So it's now 25-12, 35.2 seconds to go. And it is Darius Garland. Going to pass it over to Osman and then Evan Mobley. Passing it over to Garland. And now it is Cedi Osman who makes that 3 happen. And it's now 25-15 at the moment. And we're going to pass it over to Jared Vanderbilt. He makes that dunk happen. And it is now 27-15. And now it is D'Angelo Russell going to pass it over to Jared Vanderbilt and use some Naz Reid. 10 seconds to go. And we're actually going to knock down a 3. And it's now 30-15. Alright, this is the end of the first quarter. The Minnesota T-Wolves are up by half, so it's now 30-15. The T-Wolves are dominating on the road for the first game of this NBA Finals. There's that Larry O'Brien trophy that both teams are trying to eye on. But evidently, there can only be one winner of the NBA Finals. Alright, it's 30-15. Second quarter has just begun. Jaden McDaniels going to pass it over to Patrick Beverley as he gets this in for 2 points. So it's now 32-15. Colin Sexton, the Alabama product, losing that basketball. And it is Patrick Beverley who gets it in there. So it's now 34-15 at the moment. Kevin Love going to pass it over to Ricky Rubio, who formerly played with this team, with the Timberwolves. He had 2 stints with the Timberwolves in his NBA career. He started off playing with Minnesota in 2011 through 2017, and then he eventually went on to the Utah Jazz and then Phoenix Suns. And then before he left the Phoenix Suns, he had went on to his second stint with the Wolves, and evidently after playing with the Wolves for a second stint, he ended up going to Cleveland. So moving on, it's now 38-19, so there is a foul there. It's on D'Angelo Russell for a charging foul. So check out that mobile 1 block. That was a nice block by the Wolves defense there. So Cleveland now has possession since we charged at Cleveland's defensive player. So now Rubio has possession of the basketball. He's going to pass it over to Lamar Stevens. Going to pass it over to Colin Sexton. Gets that in there. So it's now 38-21. So now Jaden McDaniels going to pass it over to Patrick Beverley. So now Patrick Beverley makes that dunk happen. So it's now 40-21 at this point. And the Cavs are going to take a timeout. Alright, so the break is over. And we are back on the court. So it's now 1:10 to go in this first half. And now it's Malik Beasley going to knock this 3 down from behind the arc. So it's now 48-23. Wolves are up by 25. And now Malik Beasley has made a steal. He's going to make that dunk happen. So it's now 50-23. Malik Beasley with 17 points already in this episode. Crazy to think that. So now Ricky Rubio losing the basketball. Jalen Howell making that steal. Going to pass it over to Jared Vanderbilt. Gets it in there. Alright, so I made my camera a little bit brighter so that you guys can see. I liked it at the middle when it's not too dark, not too light. So it's now a 29-point lead, 54-25. Ricky Rubio losing the basketball. So now it is Anthony Edwards making that steal, and he gets it in for 2 points. So it's now 56-25. Timberwolves have been really dominating in this whole episode. Actually, first half, rather. The game is not over yet, so now Colin Sexton passing it over to Lamar Stevens. So there's now 8 seconds to go. Colin Sexton, what is he going to do? Knock down a 3. He makes it in. So it's now going to be 58-28. And Jalen Nowell gets it in before the buzzer beater. And this ends the first half here in Cleveland. Timberwolves are up by 30. Alright, it is now 58-28. Malik Beasley with 4 steals in the first half. He had 17 points. And now Jared Vanderbilt, he is going to make a dunk, and it's going to begin the second half. So now here in game 1 of the NBA Finals, now it's Darius Garland with possession of the basketball. And it looks like he's dribbling it, and he's going to pass it over to Kevin Love. Gets it in there, so it's now 60-30. Kevin Love with 7 points, and he's 75% in field goals. So now Anthony Edwards going to make that layup happen. So it's now 62-30. And he's going to pass it over to Isaac Okoro. And now Isaac Okoro has possession of the basketball. And it looks like he's going to pass it over to Kevin Love. So now Darius Garland losing the basketball. Malik Beasley making that steal. Going to pass it over to Anthony Edwards. And now Anthony Edwards making that dunk happen. So it's now 64-30. And now Darius Garland with possession of the basketball. So it looks like he's going to pass it over to Evan Mobley. Going to pass it over to Cedi Osman. Gets it in there. So it's now 64-32. And we are leading this one by half. So now Malik Beasley is going to knock this one down from 3. And it's now 67-32 at this point. So now Darius Garland's going to pass it over to Isaac Okoro. Then he picks it back up. Going to pass it over to Darius Garland. So now Darius Garland going to pass it over to Cedi Osman. And now Anthony Edwards is making that steal. Going to pass it over to Taurean Prince. And he gets it in there. So it's now 69-32. And the Timberwolves, they are likely to score at least 100 points in today's episode. So now Isaac Okoro getting this one in for 2. So it's now 69-34. Going to pass it over to Jared Vanderbilt. And we get this one in for 2. So it's now 71-34. Evan Mobley passing it over to Okoro. And now there is a foul there. It's on Jared Vanderbilt. It's a reach-in foul. We're going to try to play some defense here. Kevin Love going to pass it over to Darius Garland. And it looks like Darius Garland has possession of the basketball. He's going to pass it over to Lauri Markkanen. Gets it in there. So it's now 71-36. Patrick Beverley with possession of the basketball. And he is actually going to get this one in. Kevin Love has a shooting foul. So this means that Patrick Beverley is going to go to the free throw line. Will get 1 extra point. So it's now 74-36 at the moment. So now Colin Sexton losing the basketball. And it turns out to still be a Cavaliers possession with only 1:15 to go in the third. We are actually going to take a break. Alright, the break is over. So now D'Angelo Russell's going to pass this over to Malik Beasley. So now Beasley gets that one in. So it's now 81-41 with 18.4 seconds to go. Ricky Rubio going to pass it over to Colin Sexton. And Sexton picks it back up. So now it is Ricky Rubio going to pass it over to Ed Davis. And it's now going to be a 81-43 lead. So now Patrick Beverley going to pass it over to AE. And now Anthony Edwards gets this one in. And it's now 83-43. So we're leading this one by 40 points. And Colin Sexton dribbles it, and this ends the third. 83-43 is the third quarter score from Northeast Ohio. Alright, now this is fourth quarter action. So now Dylan Windler has possession of the basketball. So now Dylan Windler, he is actually going to get blocked. So now we have picked up the possession. So now Josh Okogie's going to knock this one down from behind the arc. So it's now going to be 86-43. So we lead this one by half. So 86 divided by 2 equals 43. And now Lamar Stevens going to make that lob over. So hustle stats, we have had 2 blocks and 28 fast break points for the Wolves already. And I'm going to use some Naz Reid, going to pass it over. Use some Josh Okogie, gets this one in for 2. So it's now 88-45. And field goals, 97% for the Wolves and 69 for Cleveland. So the Cavs didn't really do all that well in field goals today. So they've missed quite a bit from behind the arc. So now we're going to pass it over to Naz Reid. Gets this one in for 2 points. And it's now going to be 90-47. Alright, so I took a little time out there to put in my depth chart. So now D'Angelo Russell going to pass it over to Patrick Beverley. And then now some Anthony Edwards. Going to use D'Angelo Russell. And then Josh Okogie knocking this one down from 3. 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter in game 1. So now Dylan Windler has possession of the basketball. What am I doing? So now Ed Davis has possession. And they lose the basketball. And then pick it back up. So there is a foul. Patrick Beverley, there is a blocking foul. So it's now 93-47 with 1:43 to go. So we're going to try to be consistent here. Play as much defense as we can. So it's now 93-49. Kogi passing it over to Beverley. And we hand it off to Lauri Markkanen, the former Chicago Bulls player. Going to pass it over to Ed Davis. So now Cleveland has 14 turnovers. Minnesota has 3. And we got Malik Beasley in some action. Going to knock this one down from 3. And it's now going to be 96-51. And now they're dribbling the possession. And now it is Malik Beasley with the possession. Now he's going to go in the paint there. Gets it in for 2. 98-51. 1 minute to go. 1 minute and 7 seconds to go. And now Beasley has possession. He's going to make that slam for the 100th point of the game for the Wolves. So now it's slam cam time. 29 points and 7 in this episode. And there is a foul there. It's on Beasley. It's a reach-in foul. So I'm really hyped up. Kevin Pangos gets it in there for 1 point. And to my understanding, he is a Gonzaga product. So now I'm going to pass it over to Patrick Beverley. There's a foul there on Dean Wade, rather. And Beasley gets this one in, so it's now 103-53. And they're dribbling the basketball. He's going to pass it over to Dylan Windler. It's now 103-55. Going to use some Beasley there, knocking this one down. And we're going to take a timeout here. Malik Beasley is your player of the game for Game 1 of the NBA Finals. And I'll explain the numbers after the video here. And now the Cavs did take a timeout. Dean Wade making that 3 happen. So now we're going to use some Patrick Beverley in some action. So now we're going to try to knock down a 3. 12 seconds to go in this episode. 12 seconds to go in the game. So there is no shot clock after 24 seconds. You have to understand that part of the concept. So now we win 113-57 in Northeast Ohio for game 1 of the NBA Finals. So really well game played by the Timberwolves. The Cavaliers didn't really do well in field goal percentage, which I will explain right now in statistics. Malik Beasley, 40 points for him, player of the episode. 2 assists, 6 steals, and 3 dunks on the day. 7 threes, by the way. Anthony Edwards had 21 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 2 steals on the day. 3 dunks for him. Jared Vanderbilt, he had 11 points, 2 assists on the day. Patrick Beverley, 11 points, 1 rebound, 7 assists, 1 steal on the day, and had a dunk. Josh Okogie, 10 points, 1 steal on the day for him. However, Ed Davis had 8 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist on the day. He had a dunk there. Kevin Love, 7 points in all. Lauri Markkanen had 1 steal, 1 block, and he had 7 points in all. Darius Garland, he had 5 points in all and 6 assists. So this wraps it up here in Cleveland in the 216 and 440. We'll see you in the next episode.